Hey, good evening, everybody. It's Audra, and this is Coming in Hot, where myself and my guests mostly talk about mindset theories and real practical ways that you can improve your lifestyle, your relationships, your health, and yourself. And so tonight, hello again. I'm excited to be here. Tonight, we are going to discuss something that is very near and dear to my heart. And to anyone that knows very much about my personal life and business endeavors and this and that, then you are totally not surprised. And it goes along with the series that we've been in talking about mindsets and paradigms and things like that because it's actually something that helped me begin to get over some of those things and led me into this whole process of mindset. And I don't know if this is coming up on camera or not, but I've got a lot of smoke coming up right now from my incense burning. So and I just realized I didn't start my timer, so that distracted me for a minute. So anyway, I got my rose hip tea. I've got my incense burning, and it's kind of smoking me out right now, so I may have to blow it out. It may become an issue later. and that's about it. Oh, and my hemp cup. Yeah, we're going to be talking about hemp, guys. CBD in particular. So anyway, I don't know how much you know about it, but it is definitely something that has been prevalent in my world for the last couple of years and with very good reason. So I'm going to go ahead and start off by saying that I am not going to be making any medical claims about prevention, treatment, or curing of any diseases or illnesses. However, I am going to share with you my experiences, and then I'm going to give you a little bit of information to back up what I've learned. But I definitely encourage you, as always, to please research for yourself. Because had I not done my own research, I would have had no idea anything. I mean, anything about CBD. It's so brand new. So it used to be a hot button topic, and I don't really think it's a hot button topic anymore for a lot of people. And I really think that's a shame. So I wanted to bring it back to the forefront again. And let me just say I'm enjoying my tea. So I'm going to set that down. But anyway, okay. So where do we want to start? As you can see, like I don't even have any note cards tonight. Usually I have note cards because I'm just anal that way. Um, but so CBD, where to begin? Where to begin? I guess I want to start with what I grew up believing about cannabis. And so I'm going to go ahead and do some clarification here. Like I said, do fact checking. Check for yourself and see if what I'm talking about is correct. I may not be 100% right. I'm pretty sure that I'm not going to misspeak anything. But on the sheer chance I don't, please research for yourself. Because it's very important information that I think that a lot of people need to know. In fact, I think everyone should know because I think that it affects everybody. So anyway, back to the very beginning. I don't really recall ever hearing the word cannabis. Not really. I just remember hearing the word marijuana or weed. And so, for clarification purposes, and hemp, I don't really remember hearing much about hemp. I remember hearing maybe about a hemp lotion or a couple of little things like that, but I had no association of hemp to marijuana and cannabis. So, therefore, hemp was not really existent to me. And there wasn't a whole lot of talk, honestly, about marijuana or weed around in my family. I know that there had been very minimal experimentation, from my parents and this and that, but that's pretty much all that I knew. Except for, I do remember in school in the 80s, because I was an 80s baby, which is the best. I'm just saying, I'm going to claim it. But we were definitely it was definitely brought to our attention there about the war on drugs. And marijuana was listed in that group of drugs. And so it was very much pushed on at school that, marijuana was a drug and it was dangerous. Lord knows what would happen if you were to smoke marijuana. I mean, really bad, crazy things could happen. You could lose your mind. All the good stuff, that you can think of that you heard. I heard it all. My parents, though, were just more of those parents of you just don't be doing any alcohol or any drugs and we'll be cool and chill. And to be honest with you, I was very, very scared of drugs. And it probably was the war on drugs that did that, because my parents didn't really, not that I can remember, not that I can remember, I never really talked much about illicit, illegal drugs, but I was definitely scared of them. So I didn't want to have anything to do with it. I was very, very, very intimidated by it. So, and anyone that had anything to do with it, I stayed away from. So I was very much a goody goody and very, very judgy. And so that's all come full circle now, as an adult and looking back. So anyway, and I know I'm going to be judged for this show, but I don't even care. It means so much to me to get this message across that anyone's judgment doesn't even, honestly, it doesn't faze me whatsoever. So anyway, so fast forward to my latter 20s, early 30s, going through a divorce. And this is the first time that I ever experimented with marijuana. I'll talk a little bit about that, and then we're really going to focus on the CBD. But there's a reason why I'm telling you about this part. And the reason that I'm telling you about this is because I had been so scared of this my whole entire life. And I'd had so many people tell me that it was nothing to really be afraid of and that it was a natural plant. And it tried to explain to me a lot of the benefits of it. And I just shut it down. I didn't care. It didn't mean anything to me. I still had that paradigm, that we've been talking about, paradigms in my head, that it was just as dangerous as an illicit drug. Cocaine, crack, heroin, anything like that. We won't even get into pharmaceuticals. So I wasn't scared of pharmaceuticals. I was only scared of basically anything that fell into that category that was listed into the campaign for the war on drugs. And I really wish I'd have thought ahead to, I will find something that has to do with the campaign for the war on drugs, and I will add it in here actually. So anyway, let's see. So anyway, with a boyfriend, I decided that I would go ahead and try it. So many people over the years, had told me it was just a plant. And I finally got up the courage to go ahead and try it. And so I did. And I probably didn't inhale the first 3 times that I tried it. But finally, eventually I did. And I realized very quickly that I didn't lose my mind. I wasn't psychotic. And that it gave me some type of relief from things that I had dealt with my whole entire life in ways that I had never experienced before. So anyway, it was just something that I tried a few times there, and it really just kind of shattered that whole idea that I had in my head that it was this super dangerous hardcore drug. So it was kind of shattered right then. So it did take to my latter 20s. So fast forward to, I'm in my mid 30s and I am pregnant and I'm in school. And I am in school to become a nurse. I decided I wanted to become a nurse practitioner, and then I was going to go on from there and go into midwifery. And so I was so super excited about that. But I've been going through a lot of health issues. And some of the issues you can see were physical, and then some of them were definitely you were not able to see. They were mental. And I was really, really going through it. And someone that I had known for, my gosh, Lord Lacey, 12, I'm thinking 15 years or more. We had known each other. She hit me up and she said, hey, you need to check out this CBD. And I'm like, I don't know, maybe. And I didn't really know what it was. And she told me it was from hemp. And still at this point, I do not know anything about hemp, really, at all. And so I decided then and there I would go ahead and do some research. Now, at this point in time, I have ditched pharmaceuticals. I have went through going through a general practitioner to a specialist. I am now seeing a specialist and a psychiatrist at this point. Two specialists, actually. One would have been a rheumatologist, and then I was also seeing a heart doctor for high blood pressure. So, yeah, I think that's about right. By the time I had to basically quit school due to all of the health issues I was having. And so at this point, I've ditched pharmaceuticals, and so I decide that I'm going to start doing my research, because I'm not about to just try something because somebody says, "Hey, try it." It worked for me. But Lacey had her own things that she was dealing with, and I knew that I could trust that if she had used it and it had helped her, that there had to be some validity to it. So I needed to do my due diligence on my end and look into it a little bit further. So I decided to go ahead and try some. And didn't really understand how to take it. It took a little while, and that's a whole nother story. But anyway, when I did start taking it at a consistency and got it into my system where I no longer felt deficient, I was absolutely blown away at my results. And it has been a cornerstone for my growth, physically, mentally, spiritually, everything. It really was the very first holistic step that I took after I left pharmaceuticals. And it has been the one constant that I have not stopped using. And it continues to benefit me in a multitude of ways that they're just undeniable to me. So I just want to share some more of that with you guys, and I want to educate you about CBD, because I think there's a lot of misinformation out there. And I'm not a doctor. I'm going to be very upfront about that. I don't claim to be. I'm not a doctor, but I've done a lot of research. I also, like I said, was going to school to become a nurse, and I have my associates in science. So I have some science and some classes behind me that have allowed me to understand a lot of the medical information that I've come across when I've been digging into this. I've also been researching this for 2 years solid, and I have found nothing but wonderful, fabulous results. And it's you can't not share that. I mean, you just can't. How could you not share that? So anyway, I totally forgot to set my timer, so I have no idea how long I've been talking. Hopefully I'm close to my segment time. If not, we're probably going to go ahead and insert a video right here that has to do with the war on drugs, so you can kind of get an idea of where that little paradigm came from. And then when we come back, we'll dive in a little bit deeper. So anyway, we come back, more about CBD.
Youth is a happy time and a carefree time. But sometimes in these troubled days, the very thoughtlessness of youth has led to a living nightmare. Addiction to drugs, too often acquired with tragic carelessness, may take control of a life.
Hey, young America, we need to talk about something called grass. Not that grass. I'm talking about marijuana.
It's stimulating, mind-expanding, safer to use than alcohol, and as much a part of growing up as smoking corn silk behind the back fence. Such are the myths concerning marijuana.
Hey, Joey, I got some stuff you just gotta try. What is it? Pot. Marijuana. Wanna get high?
Want a hit? Come on, smoke it.
No, I'm good.
No way, man. That stuff's for losers. I'm not chicken. You're a turkey.
He's right. Drug dealers are dorks. Don't even talk to them. Cowabunga!
You're not the same when you smoke. And I miss my friend. I'll be outside.
Hey guys, welcome back. Tonight we are talking about CBD. So, we left off and we were talking about the war on drugs back in the 80s and how marijuana and cannabis, whichever you want to call it, had been clumped up into that, and how was scared of it, my history with it, blah, blah, blah. You're all caught up now. You know what I'm saying. So, anyway, if you're not, go back and listen to the first part. So, anyway, let's see. So, I tried it and started having fantastical results. So, now something that a lot of people do not understand is that they're confused about, is hemp marijuana. So, hemp is not marijuana. Cannabis is both marijuana and hemp. So you can clarify hemp and marijuana both as cannabis. They both come from the same species is what it is. So hopefully that will help you kind of understand it a little bit better. Another way of looking at it might be a red apple versus a green apple, or English ivy versus, a different type of ivy. I don't know. The only thing I think of is poison ivy, but that's not the type of analogy I want to have when I'm talking about CBD, because people are so close-minded about it. So anyway, but it is not the same as marijuana. They are very, very similar, but they are also very, very different. So CBD, or that is derived from the hemp plant, is a plant that is high in the cannabinoid CBD. So the hemp and marijuana plants, the hemp plant in particular, is made up of 113 different cannabinoids. And those cannabinoids are THC, CBD, CBG, CBN. Like I said, there's 113 of them. And all of them that have been identified so far, they've been able to pinpoint all kinds of different specific benefits that they can find within the body for these cannabinoids. So this is what I first started learning about, was what the cannabinoids were. And then after that, I wanted to understand, well, how does it work in the body? So as I started looking into it, I started realizing that there was actually quite a bit of science there. Not a lot done in the US, but a lot of science done in Europe over the years. And you can find it at your fingertips. All you need to do is Google. So I started researching, how does CBD work in the body? And I was shocked to find out that there is a whole network system in our bodies called the endocannabinoid system. And it is connected to our brains and to a lot of our internal organs and our nervous system. And the reason why I say I was so shocked by this is because I took medical classes. I took all of these, I took A&P, and I took biology classes, and I took all of these different science classes, and never once did I ever hear of the endocannabinoid system. I heard of the neurological system, the digestive system, the endocrine system. Never did I hear of the endocannabinoid system. And it showed that there were these receptors all over our body, all over our brain and everywhere. And it was basically saying that the cannabinoids in the hemp plant were made to bind to all of these receptors. And when they bind to these receptors, that it helps bring the body to homeostasis. Well, homeostasis was a word that I immediately knew. It jumped out to me. Homeostasis is the balance within the body to maintain. That's not the right way to say it. It's homeostasis. You want to be at optimal homeostasis, or when you're at homeostasis is when your body is not really affected by your external environment. So you're able to stay very stable. And I knew that with all the health issues that I had, that I was not in homeostasis. In fact, way before I was ever diagnosed with anything, before I was ever even knew about any of this stuff, I believe, that I showed signs of deficiency in from not having CBD. And so the research just blew my mind. In fact, I want to say I was doing a purge not long ago because I'm constantly starting projects around the house, purging things, always doing something. And I decided that I was going to go ahead and get rid of some of my old books that I had from when I was actually getting my associate's degree in science. And I thought, I don't even think these are used anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and chunk them. And I had my A&P book, I had my lab, and I had my study book and lecture book. And I decided to go through them and look up cannabinoids, cannabidiol, endocannabinoid system. I started looking up all of those different words that I had learned over the past 2 years about the endocannabinoid system, and verified that it was not in those books. And so I want to say that it's in the 90s is when this endocannabinoid system was supposed to have been discovered, but it hasn't been put into a lot of the medical books to be taught to physicians. So that is actually something I would like for you to take note of. If you are interested in trying CBD and your doctor doesn't know about it, there's a good chance that he was not taught about it in school. So that's a whole nother rabbit hole. Maybe I can get Thorn to go down that one for me. Shout out, Thorn. So anyway, back to it. So the endocannabinoid system is fantastic. And it is all over your body. Like I said, Google it because it will tell you everything you need to know about why this stuff is wonderful. So anyway, you have receptors all over your body. C1 and C2, or I believe that's what it is. And like I said, they are made to receive all of the different cannabinoids that are inside the hemp plant. So it's not just CBD. CBD just happens to be one of the largest constituents, and it happens to have had some of the most research done on it, and it also seems to show the most promise. So anyway, and I'm just gonna be honest with you, I hate that I cannot literally be 100% straightforward. But per the FDA, I am not allowed to use medical terms to classify myself. I am not supposed to use all kinds of different words because they are patented by our government. And so I have to be a little careful about what I say. So I don't want you to mistake me being compliant with the FDA for me trying to be slick or silly or feed you a bunch of junk, because I'm not about that life. So anyway, don't come for me. Lord, get me off track. Get me thinking about the FDA. I'm telling you, I can go off. You get me off on Big Pharma and the FDA. Yeah, I can get off on those big time. All right, so we're going to go ahead and insert a video here. And this video is going to tell you exactly what I was just trying to explain, probably in a better way. And you can kind of see an illustration and from some people who actually are a little bit more in depth into the industry than and have more knowledge than I do. So anyway, and after that, I will be back with more.
Recently, CBD and hemp products have exploded onto the market. You can find hemp in everything. It's everywhere. People use these products because it makes them feel physiologically and physically balanced. More and more find use in the effects, which has led the hemp industry to grow dramatically in the last 6 years, with greater growth by 2024. We've never had a product so popular, yet so misunderstood in its effects. What does hemp actually do? To answer that, we're going to have to explain the endocannabinoid system.
Our body has a nice internal balance that it likes to maintain. So we can just go do the thing, or we can think very easily, or we can, go perform our sport or exercise without something interfering with it. So the endocannabinoid system helps regulate all of these other systems and helps to maintain this balance within our body. Things like that get out of whack, and we notice it very quickly, like our mood, appetite, sleep, our gut health is another scenario where the endocannabinoid system really starts to interact and tries to pull us back to that center line as we start to deviate left or right, depending on what outside stressor is actually affecting our body.
To understand how hemp interacts with this system, we have to go over the basics first. How does the system work?
As systems work, they're basically things that stimulate and then things that happen on the back end, or compounds and reactions. So we have a compound that comes in and interacts with a receptor, and then we have ultimately a reaction that happens within a cell body. We have the cannabinoids, which are basically the messenger, and then we have the receptor, which receives the message and then translates the message so that a reaction happens on the back end within a cell body or within a cellular network. So basically the endocannabinoids message is to maintain this balance, and as it's received by the receptors on the cell, those cells then create reactions to hopefully steer the body back to center.
Let's look at it in a simpler way. View the endocannabinoid system as a football play. The quarterback is your body's systems that help you function properly. The offensive line are the endocannabinoids, and the defense are stressors. These external annoyances are trying to attack your body, but the endocannabinoids make it a little harder for them. But given some time, these stressors will get through to you. At this point, you might be asking, yeah, but what does hemp have to do with any of this? Well, this is what happens when you bring hemp into your system.
When we ingest hemp, the phytocannabinoids interact with various parts of the system. Now, CBD specifically interacts with the enzymes and ultimately slows down how they break down endocannabinoids. And as we slow down the breakdown of endocannabinoids, we can continue to push that message through the receptors so we can ultimately elicit this recentering of the body back to a homeostatic state.
Now, with hemp in the mix, it's easier for the quarterback to do its job. Hemp basically helps prevent the breakdown of the endocannabinoids, which in turn promotes further interaction within systems across the whole body. We hope that explains why more and more people have been gravitating towards hemp products.
Okay, so that video I found on YouTube. The channel is Onnit, spelled ONNIT. That is just one of a plethora of different educational videos that you can check out, and a lot of them are really fantastic. So anyway, it's about time to go and take a break. So let all that kind of absorb in for a minute, and then we're going to come back in for the last segment. All right, see you in a minute.
Coming up July 10th through the 12th in downtown Mineola, Texas, the first annual Century Cinema Film Festival, celebrating the 100th year of operation for the historic Select Theater in Mineola and produced in conjunction with Tours of Tyler. 36 hours of classic films from film noir to The Blob to Fred and Ginger, Grant and Hepburn, even Roy Rogers. 12 movies in 3 days. There'll be vendors, cartoons, newsreels, surprises of all kinds, and our special guest on Saturday, Brad Mall, the famous Dr. Tony Jones from General Hospital. Check us out on Facebook at Century Cinema Film Festival, or look us up on toursoftyler.com, or just call the theater at 903-569-2300.
Welcome back to Coming in Hot with Audra. And this evening we have been talking about CBD and the benefits of it, how it works in the body, trying to educate a little bit and share a little bit of the knowledge and that I have learned, some of my experiences with it. And some of what I've experienced has been firsthand. I mean, it has literally impacted my physical body and mentally positively all across the board. I mentioned in the last segment that per the FDA, I have to watch what I'm saying because you are not supposed to make any medical claims or anything. So I am just going to try to use my experiences to try to get across to you how important I think that it is that anyone and everyone, I should say, not anyone, everyone needs to really take a hard look at hemp-derived CBD just to add into your life. As in the video that we last watched, you know, we're deficient in it, and I do truly believe this, that we are deficient, not just based upon my own, because I mean, I can tell you everything I know because of how it feels inside of me. You can believe me, you cannot believe me, but not based upon just what I believe, because you could say that's placebo. But I have observed people around me that I know, and I've watched them change over time while taking CBD, while using the products. Hemp alone is a fantastic product. It is great for the body. It's great for the skin. It has just so many wonderful benefits alone. And then when you get into actually using the CBD and using the cannabinoids in the plant, it's just, it can unlock doors, in my opinion, that no other plant or medication can do. And not that it's been done for me. I can tell you that from firsthand experience. So I'm a huge advocate for it. My children take it. My husband takes it. I give it to my dog. But we have all experienced amazing results. And I just want to shout it from the rooftops because it's just, guys, I'm telling you, when you go through, and some of you are going to be able to relate to this, when you go through a period of time when you lay in your bed more than you interact with your children, maybe 2-3 years, when you do that, when you hide from your friends because you just don't feel up to going out, some of it's physical, but most of it's really emotional, and you rely upon these man-made products that we have been sold and told for many years were safe and helpful. And when you start to realize that after all this time, that the side effects of those medications that really maybe didn't seem to matter in the beginning seem to be more of an issue now. Maybe, like for me, a lot of the side effects of the medications I did not realize in the beginning. And some of that was because I was on so many different medications that I couldn't tell which one was wagging the tail. So when you go through all those kinds of things and you keep reaching out and you keep asking for help and you keep getting handed another bottle, trying something that comes from a plant that can touch all these parts of my body that need attention and improve them and improve my quality of life. Hopefully that's compliant. Don't come for me. It's just mind-boggling that it's not, that people are not more educated about it. And honestly, I'm really saddened by how many people are scared of it. I'm very saddened, and that is a big reason why I decided to make sure that this show became part of this series. Is I don't want people to be scared of CBD. I don't want them to be scared of hemp. Hemp is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful plant, and all you have to do is do your research. And doing your research is not asking your doctor. Your doctor is practicing medicine. Keyword, practicing. Your doctor is a consultant. You are responsible for making sure that you find out what hemp is, what hemp can do. Because I know a lot of people who are discouraged from using it by a lot of medical professionals, and it's due to lack of knowledge. And that is simply all that it is, lack of knowledge. And to me, that does not suffice. That is not okay. So do your research and look into it yourself. Definitely consult your doctor and ask your doctor, but the ultimate decision is up to you. And I think people forget that a lot. I'm not saying don't take your doctor's advice. I'm telling you, take your doctor's advice and do your own research and draw your own conclusions. I'm telling you that you need to reach out to other people who actually use CBD, have used it, and ask them, what did it do for you? Did it work? Okay, why do you think it didn't work? Did you have any negative side effects? If so, what were they? You want to know all of that stuff. You know, when you are also researching a product, you want to look at the manufacturer and you want to do your research. I mean, you can't drive up to the place unless you happen to live where there is one locally. It's not like you can just drive up to them and see. So you're going to have to do a little bit of research, but it's worth doing because the FDA does not test the CBD products. That is left up to each individual CBD company. So let that sink in for a minute. It falls into the health food or health, health, whatever. It falls into that category where you cannot make any medical claims. You cannot use medical terms when you're speaking about the product and this and that. And at the same time, they don't come in and they don't test it to make sure that whatever you say is in that bottle is actually in that bottle. They do zero testing. So that is left up to the manufacturer. So the manufacturer is where you need to be looking at to make sure that the product that you're getting is like legit and you want to get above board. I mean, you want to get something good. I'm a huge advocate for organic products. Huge advocate. So if you can find an organic product, I suggest an organic product. If you can, you need to find one that does not have a lot of fillers in it. If you can find one with zero fillers, that's the best. If you can't understand the ingredients that are on the back of the bottle, if you cannot make out those words, do not take it. It's not for you. I'm also a huge advocate for CBD and hemp that is grown here in the USA. And so I definitely recommend a United States product. Like I said, it's not regulated by the FDA. So do you really want to take a chance on now bringing things from other countries that have different regulations than even we do? I think not. So what else is important to know about when you are out looking at CBD? Oh, don't buy it from, I'll just be straight up, I don't care. Don't buy it from the smoke shop and don't buy it from the gas station. We're talking about taking a health food product. We're talking about taking a supplement. Do you go and pick up your vitamin D at the gas station or at the smoke shop? Probably not. I hope not. I really, really, really hope not. So good, genuine quality products are probably not going to be found in those places. And you can do a lot of price comparison and this and that. So do your research before you choose the product that you're going to take. Talk to your doctor about it. Do your own research. Absolutely, do your own research. It's so important. You need to know what you're putting in your body. And then my advice is to go for it and just give it a chance and see what it does. Because you never know how good it really may make you feel. So this has been a great, fun show for me. I love talking about CBD. In fact, I'll probably do more shows about CBD and about hemp and all that kind of stuff. So if you guys like this topic, let me know. I'm kind of curious. How many of you really learned something about hemp and CBD from this. How many of you have already tried it and have already gotten good results or have gotten poor results? I'm very curious. Let me know. So until next time, I'm going to go ahead and let you go, and I will see you next week. And coming on. Leave it or cut it. I don't care. I'll see you next week on Coming in Hot. Oh, Lord of mercy. I can't. I need an outro.